Hi, this is Randall here in Texas.
And I'm Matt here in Michigan. Today, Randall and I are reviewing a movie that just recently released on Netflix, Outside the Wire. It stars Anthony Mackie, Damson Idris, and Emily Beecham. It's directed by Mikael Hafstrom, who also directed 1408, Escape Plan, and The Rite.
Outside the Wire tells the story of an American drone pilot who is reassigned to Ukraine to work with an advanced android as they try to stop a plot and save the world. It has received pretty poor response from critics as well as audiences. So, Matt, what do you think of Outside the Wire?
Well, it's got some action in it, and if you're just looking for some action, I think you'll have an okay time with this film.
It looks like you boys have seen a lot of action.
I think the actors do a decent enough job, but I didn't really care where they went with these characters, and I wasn't a huge fan of the story. How about you, Randall?
This film is a pattern for Netflix. Is my problem. Every time I watch a Netflix film, I think, man, the ideas they're trying to get into are actually pretty interesting, but this film just does a terrible job of exploring those ideas. And it's not just specifically for Outside the Wire. That's how I feel about a lot of Netflix films, where they're like half-baked. This talks about a lot of really interesting ideas, and it just kind of throws the kitchen sink at them and says, all right, whoever wants this idea, this is here for you. Whoever wants this idea, this is here for you. And never really comes through and answers any of the questions that are important.
Yeah, I feel like this movie follows a lot of general beats that we see in a lot of different films and how we go, especially with the big thing with like the Android and stuff. I don't really want to go too much into spoilers, really go on that, but not really too surprising. One of the things I don't like is our main character. We're kind of like, at least for me, I didn't really sympathize with him too much because right at the beginning, they kind of make him feel like kind of disconnect, kind of cold. He's a drone operator and he's eating gummy bears while operating his drone, while Marines and stuff are getting shot and killed in a conflict. Granted, later on we find out he has a nickname that kind of goes along with his snacking and stuff.
That was your gummy bear? Oh, my gummy bear.
So right off the bat, for me, kind of made me disconnect. And man, the android. I mean, for this advanced android and to see what other kind of technologies around in this time period, it seems like a pretty big leap forward for me.
It's a very big leap forward, yeah. They have in this film something that may or may not happen in the near future. And this film takes place in the near future. 2030s or something like that. Mechanical soldiers, they call them Gumps, but whatever you end up calling them, they're basically just AI robot soldiers. But yeah, the android is like leagues ahead of them technology wise, and you just think to yourself, man, is that realistic at all in the context of the other technology that you see here? I mean, he's still using basically a global predator that we still use today, like right now. I want to circle back to the main character just a little bit, like you said. I found him completely unbelievable. I didn't believe him as a cold-hearted pilot. I didn't believe him as a fish out of water character. He is so incredibly insubordinate to his superiors. There's no way this character would make it through basic training. Completely unbelievable. And then near the middle, he does what you expect a character of this to do, and then near the end, he's of course a badass all of a sudden, and I'm like, well, I didn't see that growth in this film, it wasn't written.
I wasn't really a big fan too of how he gets teamed up with the android. It's kind of almost like a buddy cop kind of thing where it's like, oh, one person like screws up or whatever, and you get put with the one guy that no one really wants to work with. That's what I mean when I said earlier that a lot of these themes or whatever in this movie are ones that we've tread on in like other movies and too. They feel kind of familiar. I just don't fully believe it, this one. It's one thing if you're trying to make kind of like a comedic take, but this movie has no real comedic take at all. We have a little back and forth, I guess, between our main character and the android that may seem as a little bit of comedy, but doesn't come off that way at all, at least not for me. This movie is like too serious beats to really kind of put that in to make that kind of work. And I think that's part of the problems with this movie that doesn't really work for me.
Well, let me know if you think I'm off. This is what I wrote down as my like big takeaway for this entire film, and I'm curious if you feel the same way. What this movie was to me was like a Battlefield or Call of Duty video game put on film. But then you have to remember that the only thing that makes a Battlefield or Call of Duty video game fun and interesting is that you get to play the character. You get to do all these things. Simply watching it is boring. Even for an action film. I'm like, man, these are all the beats from a Call of Duty game, including insert, wow, this happened here. You know, did you get a bit of a video game vibe from it?
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's part of the things when I wrote, when I first mentioned about this movie, is if you like action, you're going to be okay with this film. I think that's really the highlight of this film, but the problem is, like you said, you're not the character. We really don't have all that much investment, I don't think, in these characters to make these big action pieces really hit home as well.
But Matt, he has a fiance that you never meet he's got to get back to her, but you don't know anything about her. She's just hot. I think it's fairly clear that I'm not a huge fan of this one. I still think Enola Holmes, if you want to go watch a good Netflix movie, go watch Enola Holmes instead. They have not cracked movies the way they have long-form serial storytelling.
Yeah, I think if you just want a movie for some action set pieces, don't really care too much about the story, and some decent actors, I think maybe go check this out. But really, I don't really recommend seeing this film. I'm with Randall. If you want a good Netflix film, Enola Holmes might be the movie to go check out.
Obviously, we're always interested to know what you guys think. Let us know if you liked Outside the Wire down below in the comments. We have lots of different reviews out. Make sure to check those out. If you like this review, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more, subscribe and ring the bell icon so you always catch when we're uploading. We also have a Facebook page. We'll let you know the day before, when we're posting, and what we're posting. We post new videos every Monday and Thursday, so be sure to check them out. For now, I'm Randall here in Texas. See everyone later.
And I'm Matt here in Michigan. Have a good day. Next time on No Market Media. Please consider checking out some of our other videos.